ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause. Let's make welcome all the way from NAFDAC, Mrs. Anyawo, for her presentation. Please, a round of applause. She'll be speaking to us in the next 7 minutes.
10 minutes.
7 minutes, mommy. You know I'm your favorite.
Good afternoon, everyone. I plead to stand on already established protocol. My name is Mrs. Anyawo Felicitas, an assistant director with NAFDAC. I brought greetings from DG NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye. You know her very well when it comes to food, safety, drugs. She's very passionate about it. So that is why she will ensure that we are present here today to collaborate with you. But before I go into my presentation, I would like to commend the President of Quebec for this good work he's doing. You know, poverty has categories. True or false? You may not be able to afford a building, a house of your own. You may not be able to afford a car. But when the poverty has gotten to the extent of not affording food, it has gone to the highest level. And we all know in NAFDAC, based on our mandate, we are not only interested in ensuring the availability of the food, but rather we are also very, very, very interested, according to our mandate, to ensure that the food that is available is safe and of a right quality. So on that, I am taking my presentation on food safety regulatory requirements. Food safety regulatory requirements. Next slide, please. There's no time. This is my outline. So because they said my time they've chopped into my time. So let's go to the mandates, vision, mission of NAFDAC. Next slide. For this gathering, we summarize our vision to be to safeguard and protect the health of the nation. To safeguard and protect the health of the nation. And the mission is to safeguard public health by ensuring that only the right quality food, drug, and other regulatory products are manufactured, exported, imported, advertised, distributed, sold, and used in the nation. Then what's the mandate? Our mandate is to regulate, just like that, to ensure that regulate and control the importation, exportation, everything that has to do with food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices. They are generally known as regulated products. So it is within our mandate to ensure that these products are or animal eat or drink or that plant absorb in order to maintain life. Food products are among the most traded commodity in the world. As markets become increasingly globalized with each passing year, and as the world's population continues to grow, the global food supply chain will only continue to increase in scale and complexity. So we are at the right path. We are doing the right thing. we have to produce nutritious and safe food. Next slide. Food safety is the assurance that that food you are eating will not cause you harm when it's being prepared or eaten according to its intended purpose. And to ensure this, we have different channels. We ensure in NAFDAC, we ensure what we call good hygiene practices. Good agricultural practices for those in agriculture, which we at one time or the other look into, because when the food is not produced the right way and it gets contaminated, definitely whatever you use it to process later, we still have issues. So we have good hygiene practices, good manufacturing practices. That is, I'm just trying to explain all this GHDD. No, go to the next slide. Sorry, I've opened the next one. Okay, no, up. It's on my slide here, so I'm reading from what I have here. So we have good hygiene practices, good manufacturing practices, good storage practices, good distribution practices, and what we call, you are not on the right slide, and what we call hazard analysis. Go up, please. No, don't come down. The former one we have done. I think you, yes, I saw it now. So we have what we call hazard analysis critical control points. Hazard analysis, yes, that is it. So this is GHP, good hygiene practice, good manufacturing practice, good storage practices, good distribution practices, and hazard analysis critical control points. So when the food is being produced and you do not produce them according to the set standards for this, definitely the food may have issues. So let's go. Now we are going to, based on this, we are going to concentrate on good manufacturing practices. I'm sweating. I am on fire here, please. Can I see me? I don't stand it, I beg. Sorry. There is something called components of good manufacturing practice, and that is what we are going to look at now. We are looking at, because we are going to farm. When we produce the food, what do we do with it? Please, can I have your attention? We are going to farm. We do the farming and we produce the food. When we produce the food, what do we do with it? We can go into so many things. In NAFDAC, I want to tell the House that NAFDAC, we have NAFDAC offices in all the 36 states. So no matter where you are producing, no matter where you are farming, you have access to develop that food into another thing. Value addition, to add value to the product which you have already developed from your farms. So we are concentrating here now on components of this GMP. There is something called in NAFDAC, the Director General being very about the fingers are not equal. So we brought up an idea on micro facilities. And these micro facilities, there are things put in place to make it easier for us. In these micro facilities, number one incentive is that you can register your product in the state where you are, in your zone, decentralization. Before, every product, no matter what you do, it is being registered in Lagos. But for micro products, you can register them in your zone. So we have decentralization. Another thing is that you don't need to have a very gigantic facility. So under these components, the first one here is building facility. Please go to the next. I'm using my own, I'm not. Next slide, please. Yes, components of GMP. The first one is building stroke facility. This one is that you can be your chairman, producer, processor, everything, one person. A maximum of 5. A maximum of 5 people in this one. Building stroke facilities. I say building can either be purpose built or an existing residential structure that is being converted. But it should be adequate for the orderly placement of equipment and materials to prevent mix-up between different materials. The production area should not be open to source of contamination. What are we saying here? That in your facility, even if it's a room, like now, if you want to go into packaging, you just want to package, you don't need a gigantic building. A room and a store is enough. I have done inspection to somebody who converted her kitchen to a production room. So it is possible. So what do we do? Because in production, there are different sections. There is something we call the cloakroom. There is something we call the packaging material store. There is something we call the raw material store. There is something we call production place. There is something we call finished product area. So we can convert your room. It depends on what you want to do. Because these things are farm products. You don't need, except you want to go into a large scale. But if it is a very small scale, please, what is the noise about? Am I not? Any problem? I can hear so many distractions here. Okay. So you can use a room and a store. The only issue here is that each one, there is a section. Okay, let me give instance now because we are really, let us be practical. Somebody now wants to package beans, or somebody wants to do spices and package them. A room and a store is all you need. That person that changed her room was palm oil packaging. But if you want to go into large scale production, definitely you need a larger space. So what we did was that we blocked the entrance from her dining to the kitchen. She should not use it. Now, inside the store is where in the raw material product, when she brings the oil, she put them in the store. Somebody can use a butter and label it raw material. You use butter, put your ginger, all those spices you want to do. Then the next thing, you can use your table, the slab on the kitchen with your scale, your blender as your production area. She now used her shelf, you know that kitchen shelf, as that is where she displayed her products. So it is possible. The only thing I will advise us here is that before we really start, there is something we call, we have different types of inspection in NAFDAC. There is something we call initial or advisory inspection. So it will be good before you start, please invite NAFDAC. Let them come and know, because this building we are talking about, there are areas you cannot site your production. You cannot site it near a cemetery. You will not site your facility where the environment will contaminate the food generally. Example, cemetery, filling stations, abattoir. You cannot site it very close to that place to avoid contamination. So we need to come and see the facility and check whether even inside the compound, you cannot be rearing chicken in one side and be rearing dog and then expect to use a room in that compound for no, because of contamination. So it will be nice for us to come and see what you have before we start. Raw material and finished products should be stored on pallets and shelves. Windows, rounding up, now wow, I have not even started. Okay, so generally, we need to come and see the place. Number 2 is your personnel. Like we said here, one person, between 1 to 5 people, depending on what you want to do. And generally, if you are going into large-scale production, there is basic qualification. But under packaging, school cert is enough. So school cert is the basic education. Depending on what you want to produce, please, depending on what you want to produce. Another thing is that the person should maintain a good hygiene. And to do this, there's something we call test. The person will have to go for test to be sure that you that is producing it, you don't have communicable diseases that will contaminate the product. That is on personnel. Then equipment. The equipment will ensure that the equipment you are using in your production, that equipment that comes in contact with your food, is not the type that will now leach or contaminate the food. So also we look at the equipment, and they should be properly cleaned. The next one we have, like I said before, your raw material. You need to know where you get your raw material from. But if it is from your farm, fine and good. So, but some people just go into packaging. They will buy off the people that are producing, but you have to be sure. Not that you will go to East and buy today and it's registered. Tomorrow you look at North or West. In that process, the way this person managed, handle their own may be different. So all incoming raw material should be properly stored. And we have noticed that some of the contaminations we have in food production are due to storage when it is not properly stored. Then transportation and handling. In this transportation, I'm talking from experience. When you carry your food product together with fuel, in the same boot, there is food there, there is fuel there, there is chemical there, there is soap, definitely it will contaminate. So even in transportation, you ensure that things that will contaminate the food will not be there. So now we have documentation. I thought my other colleague would be around. The documentation is another important thing. So for you to come, let me just say the basic thing you need to do, no matter the scale, is that you have to register with CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission. You are now a producer. Even if it's a one-man business, you need to have that CAC. There's another one we call trademark. Trademark may not be compulsory. It's optional, but it's for your own good. Let me cite an example. Water. I have one bottle water here. We see Eva. Anywhere you see Eva, you know it's a Coca-Cola product. So Eva is their trade name. But the company is Coca-Cola Nigeria Limited. So it's good to own it. Because if you don't own it, another person can, take over the business and then go and register it. And once that person registered that, there's nothing you can do. So it's very, very important. Our documentation is important. I don't know, you are pushing, okay. There are emerging issues. So anyway, the summary of all we have to say here is that NAFDAC is available and we are ready to help. And I'm advising us, don't come through a consultant. So many people will come through a consultant. The consultant will tell you, don't near NAFDAC. If you near, they will cut off your head. It's a lie. That consultant, we've seen it over and over, will come and be duping you. Something that you do with 30,000, he will collect hundreds of thousands from you. So please go to NAFDAC office, be free to communicate, ask questions. We decentralize this. Any state where you are, it can be registered. We sample your products, take them to the lab, do laboratory analysis, and when the result comes out, then you will collect NAFDAC number. Recently, there was a survey, 2021 National Food Consumption Micronutrient Survey that was done by Federal Ministry of Health. And it shows that it's very low, very, very low. So we need to step up. So I encourage each and every one of us, even me too that's talking to you, I'm a farmer. I farm at my backyard. So let us do it, and let us do it right. Food safety, we know, is everybody's business. Thank you very much.
Please a round of applause for Mrs. Anyanwu. Thank you so much, Ma.